Today we are discussing about hardened concrete. When you can see the hardened concrete, just when you taken the materials such as cement, coarse aggregate, fine aggregate, and then added some amount of water to it, then you will leave it for 10 hours, then your concrete will become hardened mass. And when you leave it for 28 days and then you have added sufficient quantity of water as the curing, then it will become a stiff hardened mass, and that is called as hardened concrete. When we are getting the hardened concrete, it will be subjected to general loading, and loadings may be of different kinds. It might be a tensile loading, it might be of compressive loading, or it might be some flexural loading, whatever. But concrete is capable to bear the compressive load in the most effective manner rather than the tensile force as well as flexure. It will take lesser load in those two, and that's what we will say, the concrete good in compression and steel is good in tension. So that is the general word we are hearing in the civil engineering. And next is that when it is coming to the discussion of hardened concrete, you can't do any changes in the hardened concrete because after becoming it is hardened, there won't be any chance of changes in the concrete strength or its performance. So whatever the performance or the strength gaining factors which all are there for the hardened concrete, which all are before it is affected by the your fresh state works. So there are so many factors which will influence the strength of the hardened concrete. So it is important for us to study about the behavior or load bearing capacity or its nature under loading to be learned in this concern. So say for example, if something is going to happen after 28 days, that is to be taken care in the before, and then we have to achieve the result. It is something like we are aiming for something to achieve, so we are doing some efforts, and those efforts should be in the good manner, so we are going to reach it. That kind of work should be done with your concrete in each and every day of work. Then how the strength is getting affected? There are several factors. There are so many views. There are so many concepts which are dealing with this hardened concrete, because if something is there means we are going to dealt with the so many people are commenting on it, and then they are saying that this is not good, that is not good, that has to be done, this has to be done. So many views are there. Out of this we have listed with some standard conditions which all are affecting to it, and it is being considered. Let me see it is one by one. I will give the list now. Here I have the list of factors influencing the hardened concrete, which all are mainly influencing the strength of the concrete. In that, the quality of raw materials, water cement ratio, ratio of the cement to aggregates, maximum size of aggregates, grading of the aggregates, size, shape, and texture of aggregates, gel space ratio, concrete mix and its proportion, rate of loading on the structure, moisture condition in the structure, mode of compaction which is used, and curing methods and curing temperature is in the concrete or hardened mass, age of the cement what we have used, age of the concrete, and relative humidity, then porosity. These many things will influence the compressive strength or strength of the concrete. Generally, when I'm talking about the strength, concrete will be primarily bearing the compressive strength rather than the tensile strength. That is the known truth, because concrete is good in compression. Let us let us see one by one the factors which are influencing the strength of the concrete. The first one is quality of the raw materials what we are using. Quality of the raw material means the raw materials which all are used for the concrete should be with the good quality. Then what are all the raw materials we are using? That is cement, coarse aggregate and fine aggregate. That is all the things which all are important. So cement what we are using should be with the good quality, and how to assess the quality of the cement, that you have learnt already in the first module. And second one is the quality of the aggregates. The aggregates what we are using, generally the 20 mm downsize aggregate or 40 mm downsize aggregate should be with the proper shape, that is cubical in nature, and it should be with the perfect texture, and it should not be the rounded one, and it should be with the proper strength. Those many factors should be included. And then when we are using the fine aggregate, it should be with the lesser seed content, more fineness, or based on the requirement of Jones, it has to satisfy the conditions, as well as it should be with the good by filling nature. These many things should be involved in it. So if the concrete what we are preparing with this quality of aggregates will gives the good strength. This is the premier thing. Next one is the water cement ratio. So generally what we have seen, if the water content is more in the concrete, which is going to increase the presence of the more pores, because after excess quantity of water is being eliminated by evaporation, will leave those spaces as empty, and those will become pores which are going to reduce the strength. Then if the water cement ratio is more, automatically the strength will be less. If water cement ratio is less, the strength of the concrete will be more. Next is the ratio of the cement and aggregate. It is nothing but binder to aggregate ratio, what we will say in the general. So in our cases, binder is nothing but our cement. So if the binder content is more in the concrete, it will give the good strength and it will become a rich concrete. If the binder content, that is cement content, is less, it will become the lean concrete and its strength will be less. After this, the next is maximum size of aggregates. If the aggregate size is more or bigger, the size of aggregates which all are having the lesser specific surface area, lesser the specific surface area, so it is having the lesser space for its binding. As the lesser space for binding, so it will be giving a lesser strength. Next is grading of the aggregates. The aggregates what we are using, if it is well graded aggregate, then it will be giving good strength, because the interlocking of the aggregates is good and it is going to complete almost all the spaces which are going to be evacuated or empty in the concrete, because of the all size of aggregates present in the well graded aggregate. If the aggregate used is gap graded aggregate, then automatically it will leave the empty spaces, so it is going to reduce the strength. Again, it is not going to have the good interlocking system in between the aggregates, so it is going to affect by the grading. And after this we have the size, shape and texture of the aggregates. So whatever the aggregates we are using, it should be with the proper size, so that it is giving the more specific surface area for the gel to be adhere and then to be bonded. So generally for the good concrete or the structures which are used for the important purposes, for those things we are using 20 mm size aggregates. And next one is shape of the aggregates. Shape of the aggregate should be of cubical in nature, and it should be rounded or it should not be with the smoothness. So the cubical aggregates are preferred in these cases. After this, the texture is something related to the adherence or the friction, force whatever is given for the bonding. If the texture of the aggregates is smooth, it is not going to give the mode or the adherence for the matrix, so it is going to reduce the strength. Then if the structure is rough, then it is going to give the good adherence for the matrix, so it will give the good strength. Next is a gel space ratio. The gel space ratio I'll say in simple and later I'll discuss in detail. So gel space ratio is nothing but the amount of space is available for the formation of the gel. Say for example, if I have the concrete, it is having the less empty spaces, so it is being covered with the almost all the parts by the aggregates, and it is having very less space for the formation of the gel. Then whatever the cement is there, it will be left as it is even though water is available, because of the space availability. So the space available for the formation of the gel should be optimum, so that it has to form all the complete mass of the cement is to be getting hydrated, and then it is going to make a gel, and then it is going to form stiff matrix. So that space is also important. Next is concrete mix. Next is concrete mix. Concrete mix is nothing but it is something like a proportioning of the materials. The proportioning of the materials is again dependent on the strength requirement or strength to be achieved. So say for example, if I want to make the bed concrete, then I will go for the proportion 1 is to 5 is to 10, and then 1 is to 4 is to 8. So there the strength requirement is less. Say for example, if I'm going for the beam, or if I'm going for the slab, then I will go for the M20 proportion. This is the difference, is because the strength achievement is dependent on the materials what we are taking in the proportion. The proportion of the materials used is again contributing to the this concrete strength. So the concrete mix is also an important factor to be considered in the achievement of the good strength of the concrete. So next is rate of loading. Rate of loading is something like how we are loading on the concrete structure. So it is again dependent on the strength, or it is again it is going to say the loading effects which is influencing the strength. Say for example, if I am doing the structure for the general house building, but you are using it for the something like a mall or something else, where the loading rate is more and it is uneven, but I haven't designed it and I haven't used for that kind of concrete structures. So it is important, even though whatever the strength we are going to have, it should be proper, or it should be in relate to the rate of loading. So rate of loading is nothing but application of your load. It should be uniform in almost all the cases, and it is dependent on the purpose what we are using. And next is the moisture content. Moisture condition. Say when we are using the concrete for the houses at the slab, when we are using the concrete for the sewer lines, the condition is completely different. Our slabs are getting wetted, it might be a seasonally. Our sewer lines are getting wetted usually. So the condition is different. The moisture condition requires different strength requirements. So if the moisture content condition is more, or moisture content in the environment is more of the surrounding things of our concrete, then we have to go for the perfect selection of the cement as well as the strength of the concrete to be taken into the consideration. So if you are using it for the general cases, then it is different. So from these things, if the moisture condition is always in the structure of the concrete, it is going to reduce the strength as compared to the normal concrete, or in the concrete in the normal condition. So the normal condition concrete will be having more life and more strength, but when the concrete is in the moisture condition, it will be having lesser strength because of these moisture problems. And next is the mode of compaction. The compaction will be done when our concrete is in the fresh state. So if we haven't compacted properly, if we haven't removed all the air voids present in the concrete completely, that is going to form the empty spaces, and then it is going to form the empty pockets in the concrete. That is going to reduce the strength of the concrete. If you have did the proper compaction in the fresh state of concrete, that is going to give the good bonding, as well as there is no any empty spaces, means it will take all the loads whichever is being taken by the outer surface of the structure, transferred equally to the all the bondings of the aggregates as well as matrix. So it is going to give the good strength. So strength is again dependent on the type of compaction what we are doing. Say in comparison, like if I'm doing the compaction by ramming, or if I'm doing the compaction by the vibrator, needle vibrator will be giving the good strength. The needle vibrator compacted strength concrete will give the good strength as compared to the rammed one, because of the achievement of the empty spaces removal. So if we have removed all the empty spaces or air pockets, which will give the good strength. And next method or next thing is curing method, and the curing conditions what we are using. So in the curing method, if we are following the proper curing, that is helping in the completion of the hydration of the concrete. So if the concrete is being hydrated completely and there is no any loss of water, and it is having no problem of increase of the temperature in the concrete, so it is making the concrete to be become hardened mass without losing its water and providing the required quantity of water to the cement for its hydration. So this will achieve the good strength. If there is no water for the completion of the your hydration process, if the hydration is become incomplete, then the cement mass will be left as it is. As the cement mass is left as it is, so it is not going to achieve the good strength, so it will become a lacuna. And next is age of cement. If the cement what we have used, it is of latest time, so it is having the almost fall setting is being initiated, or it is maybe affected by the humidity or something else. So as the age is become more, so its bonding strength will become reduced. So because of the humidity present in the atmosphere will cause us the hydration with the calcium, so it is going to reduce the strength. If we are using the fresh cement, then it will give the good strength. If it is not, then it is going to reduce the strength. Next is the age of the concrete. If the concrete what we have used it is older, then it is having the lesser strength. Whatever the concrete is in the earlier state, it is not decayed or it is not being affected by any manner, then it is going to bear more strength. After this, say generally the age of concrete will starts to bear the load after 28 days. Say for example, we will give 28 days of curing for all the concrete structures. That is because the concrete is completely or 99% of the concrete is getting hydrated and becoming it is hardened mass. So at that time it is completes 99% of its hydration, so that we are referring 28 days of curing. Next is relative humidity. Relative humidity is nothing but the moisture content present in the atmosphere. If the moisture content present in the atmosphere is more, in the initial state, it is going to inhibit the hydration process, or it is going to reduce the hydration process because of the lesser temperature. I'll take one more thing in this. If the surrounding temperature of the concrete is more, the heat of hydration or the rate of hydration will be more. As the rate of hydration is more, it is going to achieve the strength in the earlier manner. If the environment is having lesser temperature, automatically it will be having the reduced rate of hydration. As the relative humidity is nothing but the presence of the moisture content will reduces the strength of the concrete in the later stage. Say for example, if the moisture content of the concrete is being reduced, if the humidity is less, it is going to suck the water from the concrete, so it is going to reduce the water content in the concrete mass. Automatically it will reduce the availability of the water for the hydration, so it is reduces the strength. And next is porosity. Porosity is nothing but presence of the empty pockets which all are being interconnected. The porosity is more, and it is going to reduce the strength. If the porosity is less, it is going to give the more contribution towards the strength.